1 2 1 2. We are live here. I am the CME, chilling with my brother, the Good.
Yo, Timothy B.
And we are discussing why art. So, good brother Timothy, what made you decide to go ahead and pick up art? Like, what gravitated you? Why art for you? What was your decision to say, okay, I'm an artist, and embrace that identity of identifier?
I think I always been an artist personally, but after my hoop dreams ended, that's when life started, and I needed to figure out how to make some money. At the time, I was working just little part-time jobs, and that I didn't like the structure that came with that. I didn't like being supervised. I didn't like being told when to go on break and so forth. And I even had some bad run-ins with some of my supervisors who was only making $1 more than me. You know what I'm saying? So that I had a problem with that. At the time I was already, working with my pen, working with my pencil, developing my skills through class and, going to school and so forth. But it wasn't until, I graduated when I really discovered, not just the passion, 'cause I already had the passion for it, but the value behind art. I started to see that there was money in this, and it came in forms of tattoos, then later came the murals. But, in the beginning of my career, I was tattooing, I was making logos, I was designing tattoos for people, and I also had a clothing line once I graduated high school. So I was making designs for my own shirts. I was selling them out the trunk, you know what I mean? Really, this was before Instagram was a thing, and Facebook. We didn't even have Facebook at the time. So, that's one of the reasons why.
The hustle is always within you.
For sure.
And so, you said when your hoop dreams ended, was it something when you were playing where you got hurt, or was it just okay, this is not panning out?
Nah, it's just not panning out. I wasn't getting no scouts, for real. In my head, I was saucy, but real life.
Yeah, in my head, I was. But when we go out there right now.
Really though, on the playground, saucy. You know what I mean? But when it came down to organized sports, I wasn't connecting. Something just wasn't clicking for me. You feel me? So I wasn't getting recognition from scouts or So I realized I needed to make a living. So it wasn't until I started working at Target when I discovered my passion for tattooing. I always loved tattooing and I loved the art form, but I never felt like I could do it until I started working at Target, when I met one of my coworkers who was terrible, nigga, weak. But he was tattooing everybody though. He was tattooing on all of our coworkers. So that inspired me. Cause I'm if this nigga could do it, and I'm saucy.
I know I got bars.
I know I got bars. You know what I mean? Since I was a young age, I always been I'm a real sketch artist. You know what I mean? First, unlike a lot of these tattooers who aren't tattoo artists, I was actually an artist. So I could design your tattoo and tattoo it on you. Whereas many tattooers out there, they need a stencil in order for them to do the work. Mm-hmm. I didn't need that. You feel me? So when I saw that what he was doing, I'm oh yeah.
Let's run it.
Let's run it. And I hit him I wanted him to show me the basics, but he kept on catting on me. So I ended up tapping in with one of my OGs who did my first tattoo. And I used to watch his card just to get, some tips from him. You feel me? And it just got to the point where he just started really investing time in me and showing me the ropes. And I got my tattoo machines. At the time I was calling them tattoo guns, like a real scratcher. I typed on, I had Facebook at this time. I typed on Facebook. I already had a little following because I had Planet 9 Clothing. That's my clothing line. I already had a movement. So I typed, I just got 2 tattoo guns. Anybody want to get free tattoos? Holla at me. Everybody hit me up. So I was tattooing people on their tables,
free tats,
lawn chairs, all the shit, right? Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know what I'm saying? But I needed to practice, and that got me going. And that was like really the start of like my art career. For real.
Interesting. So, would you say that music played a part within the inspiration as well?
Music.
Just because when it comes to art, like it's normally synonymous.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say like music was like the driving force to me becoming an artist. Music was just the background. It was the soundtrack to my art career. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to be like a rapper, because I grew up in that environment. Like my brother, he a real popular rapper. Locally known as Chippers. So growing up under him, I was inspired, like our dad been in prison for 24 years of our lives, so he was next in line for me, you feel me, in terms of like being that kind of fatherly, masculine figure, so looking at him and just, he always been like, to me, he always been like him, you feel me? So, and then to the outer, world or whatever, he was him. You feel me? So, initially between him and my other brother, both of them just are real good, with words. I always wanted to be a rapper, but that just wasn't my lane at that time.
Hey, first of all, shout out to NHT, you know what I'm saying? Benny Chips, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Eagle, I get you. I see.
Come on,
and then but that's dope. Like each one of y'all mastered the discipline within hip hop.
For sure.
Like that's hard as fuck.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like y'all are masters of the craft.
Thank you.
And if you've been within the city of Oakland or just within the Bay Area in general, like you have seen his work.
Yeah.
Like his work is very, very, very prominent.
Thank you.
And it's this is a blessing to be able to sit down and be able to have this conversation.
Thank you.
So yeah, man, like kudos to shout out to Pops too. You know what I'm saying? For dropping some pressure on this world.
For sure. In a real way.
In a real way. Shout out to the black man. Black man can.
Yeah.
So with you moving on from how do you move from tattooing to say, okay, I want to take this off the canvas to see what other areas that I can thrive in? Like, what was that transition like? Or do you still do tattoos?
No, I don't. Well, at the time, I just wasn't. I mean, honestly, like it was the pressure of. I think it was a few things, but specifically, it was me. I didn't have no money. I didn't have no bread. You feel me? Like I wasn't able, and I was making a living. Like I wasn't asking for no handouts. My bills getting paid on time, every time, highest credit score, all the shit. But after I paid the bills, I didn't have nothing.
Right.
Right. And I didn't like the hustle of doing tattoos. Like, in order to make a living, I got to do like 20 to 30 projects a month in order to live a minimum life. I didn't like that, So it's like being a barber. You got to cut hella heads just to pay your bills. I didn't like that. So I'm like, man, how can I, cut the load, and make things a little more simpler. At the time, I was messing with this young lady. She introduced me to an old homie of mine. We ain't really connected like we used to, but he played a pivotal part in showing me, a different perspective of the arts, by introducing me to like street arts, more so specifically murals. Because before meeting them, I was already, like hitting the streets, doing little tags.
Wait. So you grew up a tag artist as well?
No, I did not. I just
Really?
me. I'm an only child. You know what I mean? So when I have interest in things, I don't wait for people to bring me out or show me the ropes. I just go do the shit, and I figure it out over time. You feel me? So I had interest in the street arts. So I used to one day I was like, man, I'm about to go out and I'm about to go paint some shit. So 2 o'clock in the morning, that's really where my street art, infatuation started. 2 o'clock in the morning, I hop on my uncle's bike and I used to just ride around the East looking for shit to hit. And again, I didn't want to hit mom and pop businesses. I had a set of principles that I lived by even during that time.
And that's the way that most artists, credible street artists operate. You don't operate as a toy, just hitting up anything.
Exactly. But see, for me, it's just common sense. I just come from a respectable family that, taught me how to move in this world. You feel me? So, initially I already knew I'm not about to go hit up, small businesses. No, I'm gonna hit up the city property because they got the money. So I'm so that's what I used to do, And I used to ride my bike, over there, just around the East, and sometimes I go to Wood Street, and paint underneath the overpass. In the wee hours in the morning and watch the sun come up. It used to be some of the most beautiful sunrises I ever seen right there in the hood. But it was for me, it was a thrill, and I'm a thrill seeker. Skydiving, zip lining, I travel across the world solo. I do shit like that, so that was my entry into the street arts. And once I met, old boy, that's when, he introduced me to other artists, and, I started to just kind of develop, like I said, just an infatuation for just being outside, painting big murals and stuff like that. But, initially all I ever wanted to do was to just put my art out there on a big platform for everybody to see, I always felt like I was dope. I felt like I was saucy. Just no one knew it. You feel me? So, my only goal at the time was to pop out and show niggas.
Pop out and show niggas. So tell me about this. What was your first commissioned mural? Tell me about what was the feeling like when somebody said, "Hey, we want you to, go do this for us."
All right, so I would say I had 2 firsts.
Wait, you had 2 firsts?
I had 2 firsts, right? Because one of them was because I don't really count it because it was a practice, you know what I'm saying? It was practice. I mean, and they, all right, so just to answer your question, the first one, it was with Bandaloop. Shout out to Bandaloop. They used to be, I don't know if they still there, located in West Oakland. They be dancing on buildings. That's the simple way of putting it. It's much deeper than that. But Bandaloop, I knocked on their door, and at the time, I think they was having a graffiti problem. So I was like, man, if you mind, I can help you out with this, and if you let me paint a piece over it, I'll be more than willing, and I convinced them to give me $800 for supplies, and I brought it back to the homie who introduced me, and I asked him to show me how he would go about painting a mural, So things didn't end up panning out between him and I, but it was a good lesson for me in terms of, how to spend money on a piece of art like that, and also how to collaborate, on a large piece. At the time, I didn't know about how to put up my art or how to take the art from the little photo and make it into a big one. So I had a sketch. This was before iPads was the thing. You had the old school gridding process, but I didn't really know much about how to do that on walls. You know what I mean? So I just had, I barely even knew how to use spray cans. So it was just going off on a whim, Just as I did with tattoos, same process, right? Same shit. But you know, I knocked on the door for an opportunity. You know, and that, like, again, I always had that real, like, strong hustle mentality. You know what I mean? Like, I'm born in that. You know what I'm saying? Between my mom and dad. So I just applied that to the arts. You know what I mean? But that was my first commission. Then my second commission was with Empire.
Empire Studios?
The music.
Empire, the record label.
Yeah, the record label. So it was with them. They hired me to do an XXXTentacion piece. I said it right that time. I think so. But the wall was 70 feet wide by... No, it's 80 feet wide by 17 feet high at 7th West on 7th in Union, right? And I had 10 days to do it. And they gave me what? They gave me $5,500 at the time.
That's bread,
right? They gave me that, right?
Right, like that's bread.
So
like,
I'm
like, for sure.
Yeah. And that's what made me want to take this all the way serious. You know, like because like at the time I was taking bartending classes, trying to make some extra dough, but I ended up missing my final. Once I got that project, I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm about to do this real shit all the way. You feel me? So, like I said, I had 10 days to do it, and I put 10 hours a day on this piece, you know, and it was up from there. You know, all black performed in front of it because it was for a party that they was throwing just to pay tribute to XXXTentacion and some other shit. Then, you know, Rex Life Raj, he performed in front of him and a few other artists. So it was lit. Then so, you know, that was like my first experience, like, yo, like, oh yeah, this is what that feels like. Like, okay, you know. And it was up from there, bro. It was up.
That's dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah,
so let me ask you this other question within regards to you and your murals. Mm-hmm. You were one of the first artists that I know of to incorporate technology within your pieces.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, what was it for you to be able to create, like, you know, the moving pieces? Like, how did that get introduced to you?
Well, I would say, look, I have no credit. You know, I take no credit in that. You know, that's all credit to Black Terminus and my brother Damian McDuffie. You know, when I met him, he was getting into, like, you know, AR technology, and he introduced it to me. At the time, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, he pitched it to me, sound good, do what you do, you know what I mean? Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my job is to paint, your job is to put the technology to it, you know what I mean? So, you know, he, I'm gonna have to tap in with him, because I'm trying to remember, like, how we even met in the first place. I feel like, you know, like, once we got connected, he was just instantly, that's brother. You feel me? Like, we traveled 4 countries together already. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when we met, we instantly just hit the ground running. You know, and it was I want to say the first piece that he placed technology on was the AR technology was the People Power piece on 7th and Washington, and that's an image of Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, and you know, which is, I think, the largest Black Panther mural to date. He had, you know, invested in, you know, helping me. I fundraised for that project. I fundraised $20K to create that project. You know, so he.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I fundraised $20K to create that. You know, like I hit people up, like. You know, like, it was a piece I wanted to do. You feel me? So, you know, and I hit up all my money people, you know, who hired me prior, And I told them, I pitched them my idea, and they was fucking with it. You feel me? So,
That's dope.
And he was one of them. You know, he gave me about, 1,500, just to show he didn't even have to do that. Be honest with you. That's why I even fuck with him even more. You feel me? And yeah, me and him since then we've been working. But like even to this day, like I need him for that. Because I haven't taken the time to like really learn the software like that. So but I love having him to work on that side of it. That give me space to focus on other things.
And what about you right now? With you being who you are now within the art world, what advice would you give to somebody that's trying to get into it? Like, let's say if I'm like a high school student and I'm just like, I love to draw, but I don't know how to go about the route that you did with this knocking on somebody's door. Would you tell them just to go knock on somebody's door? Or would you say that it's different because it's like they have different outlets now with IG and shit?
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest for them to take the same route. In terms of hustle, yeah, for sure. But you don't need to knock on doors anymore. You can knock on these DMs. For real though. You can knock on that, you know what I mean? But I think, my advice to young artists is to, like think bigger than what you know now. Think about like who you want to become 10, 15 years down the road. Like what kind of artist do you want to be? And how and work backwards. How can you get there? What does those milestones look like? And I mean, again, you got to leave space for spontaneity. Shit just don't happen how it happens, but at the same time, approach your career with intention, and not just kind of go from a willy-nilly, free willy position. It's like, nah, like really think about the business of what you're doing. Like think about that. Think about how to make a living and like really calculate, like break down the numbers. Like me, what drove me was being broke. Well,
that's a big ass hungry.
Well, let me
hungry
for real.
Right, for real.
Well, let me correct myself. I was financially hindered. I wasn't broke. I never been broke.
Right.
I
know what you mean. Yeah. I'm financially challenged at this point.
You
right, I feel you.
So,
right.
So what I did, and this is kind of like what I've been, what I try to teach to my friends is entrepreneurship, like developing that entrepreneurship mindset. At the time, and I think a lot of us who grew up in this area, friends either hit licks or they doing some street shit, you know what I mean? Me personally, because of, seeing my dad's position, I didn't want to.
You already knew that wasn't.
That ain't for me. It's not for me. I love women, freedom, and travel way too much to put myself in a position to go prison.
Amen to that.
You know what I mean? So that wasn't gonna work for me. Even seeing my friends come up and man, they got money. They going to the fucking Nita Baker show, spending $200-$300 on the ticket while I'm over here at the house dreaming about being there. You know what I mean? But I knew like I had the discipline and the patience enough to know my time would come. And I think as a young artist, you gotta have that discipline and that patience and that hustle, that drive to know that the time will come for you. It will happen.
That's a
it will happen.
That's a hard ass note. All right, we're gonna end it on this one. This is random as fuck because having the drive and the discipline and the patience, and it will happen. Yeah. Like that's a great note to end on. However, on some random shit, what are 3 artists that you're listening to right now that you fuck with, or 3 albums, just random albums? It could be anything. It could be like, oh yeah, I've been slapping some Parliament Funkadelic, I've been slapping some Miles Davis. Like it could be the GNX album. Like what is it?
Man, I listen to a lot of music, but so I'm gonna give you one that you probably never heard of.
All right.
My man Joe Baton.
I know Joe Baton.
I love Joe Baton.
Joe Baton, come on, man. That's that brown soul.
Come on,
come
man.
on, man. Yes,
Love
I know.
Joe Baton.
Yeah.
Love Joe Baton. I've been listening to man, I would throw a local. I don't even know where you from, but Pay Me Zay. He got that. I recently heard this presidential that's been on repeat. That's my shit. Shout outs to you, bruh. And I've been listening to that JN. That JN. What is it? The Nene Leaks. On repeat, bruh. On repeat, bruh. That's for real though. You know, but I mean, I got a whole list, but those.
But that's three.
My three. That's my three.
All right, man. This was a solid ass interview, bro.
Right on,
all right, man. We appreciate you. Why Art? Thank you for tuning in. The CME team. We holler at you now.
Yeah, yay.